My name is Allie, and welcome to Funny Fat Friend, a podcast about this bodacious biracial babe trying to find herself in film. Here's an update. We have been protesting here in Louisville for 141 days for justice. I'm going to post a link to the wish list of supplies we are in need of here for protesters. And again, if you can, give to the Louisville Bail Fund as well. And finally, please vote. Early voting started this week in Kentucky. Make a plan about how you're going to vote, and then go do it. I requested my absentee ballot. I filled it out, and I'm taking it to drop it off directly at the fucking county clerk's office because I ain't messing around. Alright? I'm getting my vote counted. Alright. So, now for the moment we've all been waiting for. The end to our Men in Black mission. This week we are closing out with Men in Black International, which just came out last year in 2019. So it was 7 years after MIB3. It had a budget of $94 to $110 million because, sure, why not? Sony's whatever. That's so much money. It's such a difference. Whatever. It grossed $253.9 million at the box office. And Will Smith and Tommy Lee Jones are not in it at all. Which is so lame. But they were like in a painting. It's not even really them. It's like these weird like impressionist versions of them in a painting. But yeah. Cool. Let's talk about it. Okay, so we start with Agent H, which is Crimson Chin. It's Crimson Chin. Chris Hemsworth, the Crimson Chin. Oh wow, they should do that. Why haven't we seen that? Fairly Odd Parents. We do have a Fairly Odd Parents movie. It's Drake Bell. But, like, yeah, he could be the Crimson Chin. Chris Hemsworth is the Crimson Chin. If they made the Nickelodeon cinematic universe, I'd watch all those movies. I technically saw some of Ragnarok, which is what inspired this casting, apparently. It's Crimson. Oh, I'm gonna do it the whole time. Chris Hemsworth and Tessa Thompson are in that movie together. But I was like baking cookies and it was playing in the background. So I don't remember really what happens in it at all. But I guess they were awesome. Which is why they put them in this movie together. Hey. But yeah, Marvel movies, I don't know. I've seen like maybe 5, which seems like a lot to me. But they're like 40. So it's not that big. Cool. If somebody pays me, I'll watch all the Marvel movies. And I'll review them. You have to pay me. That one's not going to be like a fun, I just want to do sort of thing, you know? I'm worth it. Okay, great. So yeah, we start with Agent H, played by Chris Hemsworth, and his mentor, High T, who's played by Liam Neeson. Don't know why I sang it, but it felt right. In 2016, we find out there's like a thing that says Paris 2016. And they're in the middle of a mission at the Eiffel Tower. There is a couple that is getting engaged on the Eiffel Tower while they are running around. And that's like some good comedy because they're like, what's going on? We're normal people. And so Chris Hemsworth has to neuralize them and be like, there's like a weird alarm going off, so you guys have to leave. Ask her to marry you in the elevator. But then there's like some action sequence drama with the elevator, and he has to neuralize them again in the elevator and be like, never mind, ask her on the ground. So we love a repeated joke. Doesn't everybody? I think scientifically we do, right? Because every movie has repeated jokes. Rule of 3. They do it 3 times. So they satisfied the rule. They did not go over 3 times repeating the same joke, so good for them. Alright, cool. So they finally get to, like, I guess the middle of the Eiffel Tower. I don't know. I've only ever seen the Eiffel Tower from the Paris airport. I have not been to the actual Eiffel Tower. I don't know if the middle of it looks like this. I don't know where they are in the Eiffel Tower. But they go in with their guns. There's like a big explosion-y thingy shooty time. And then it cuts to 20 years ago, Brooklyn. So, wow, it was pretty intense. So yeah, we're 20 years in the past from that moment, which is 23 years in total from when we would be watching it. That doesn't matter. But whatever. So cool. Yes. 20 years ago in Brooklyn, and there's a couple sitting on a couch watching Purple Rain. Because I got that right away. I knew what movie they were watching. Purple Rain. It's very funny, very enjoyable. The dad quotes Morris Day in Purple Rain, and it's very fun. I recommend watching this movie, just for that scene. It's very cute, very enjoyable. And he's even wearing a Prince t-shirt, I noticed later, after he, like, jumps up. It's very fun. So it's a couple hanging out, and they hear something, and the man wearing the Prince t-shirt gets one of his golf clubs, and goes to see what it is. He runs back in and is like, that is not an animal. That is a creature. And the wife is like, yo, 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 call the police. He is like, the who? And then, which also made me laugh for some reason. It's probably because the police are dumb. And then he starts to dial, and there's a knock at the door, and it's the Men in Black. And they show up saying that they are animal control. And then we go upstairs to see a young Molly, a girl named Molly, that we find out later, but I already knew because I watched the movie. A young girl, her name's Molly. She's like looking out and sees the Men in Black talking to her parents, and they're like, oh, this is this type of alien actually from this galaxy. And of course the parents were like, huh. But of course they neuralize them and then say it's just like some raccoons and they need to keep their trash can lids on tighter. And she turns around and sees a little baby blue alien cutie patootie sitting in her windowsill all scared. And she's like, yo, bud, it's gonna be okay. I'm gonna tell you where to go and where you can be safe. Don't go out this window. Let's take you out this other window. So she shows it how to go like out on the fire escape and escape. And she's all like, my name is Molly. And it's like, Molly. Just like that. And then it says like some phrase in its native language. And she, like, remembers that phrase, and it jumps away. And she doesn't get neuralized, because her parents said that she was asleep. So then she grows up and becomes Tessa Thompson. What a dream. I wish I grew up and became Tessa Thompson. And she's completely obsessed with space and joining Men in Blacks because of that moment. And she just doesn't know how to do it. So we see her like in this montage of her applying to like the FBI and CIA and being in like the interview room, being like, I would like to work at the upstairs division. And they're like, accounting's upstairs. And she's like, no, like the spacey space. So, of course, everybody just thinks she's bonkers. And then we see her working as, like, customer service for, like, an IT company or something is what it seems like. And while she's on, like, the phone with somebody, telling them to, like, turn the machine on and off again or whatever. we see on one of her monitors, like, she's tracking, like, a meteor on its way past Earth, and she notices that it's, like, actually going to land on Earth, that its trajectory suddenly changes, and she's like, yo, 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 I know that that's actually an alien coming down to the Earth, and it's not supposed to. I bet MIB is going to be there. So she gets a little black suit on, because she's a smart woman, and then takes a cab to, like, where the coordinates were. And she can't, like, see anything. It's just like a rundown alleyway. But then she notices a bunch of pigeons fly through the alleyway and disappear all of a sudden. So she's like, oh, there is a barrier here. And just like the bold woman she is, she just puts her like face and arms straight through. Doesn't take like a stick or like kick it. She just goes straight in, and that's exceptional. But so she sees an alien, and he's getting detained by MIB because he landed illegally, and they're like, no, sir. And yeah, he looks like a full like bobblehead alien. That's the only description I could think of, like the classic like green big old dome looking bud, that guy. I love it. It's really enjoyable. So they capture him, and so she then follows in her taxi, follows the MIB agents back to the headquarters, and she just full on walks straight in, even tries to make a little small talk with the reception guy who's always reading his newspaper. It's like, they already bring in that guy, haha, trying to make an illegal stopover, and he's like, yeah, that is what it is. And she gets into the elevator, and she thinks she's done it. But then we see, sitting next to reception man, Frank the Pug. Frank the Pug in a little dog bed. And he's like, talking about amateurs. You gonna report that? Frank the Pug. What a great cameo. Oh, so good. Because we didn't have him. We only had a picture of Frank the Pug in the last one, so I'm glad they brought him back. We stand Frank the Pug. I need to make Frank the Pug t-shirt. I love him. So yeah. She quickly, as she's like going down into MIB, it turns like red, the elevator, and like shoots her down into like a holding cell. Where we see Agent O, which was in the third movie, Agent O. Still Emma Thompson, still a full queen. She is looking at her and is like, nah, neuralize her. And Molly's like, no, please. Like, I know everything about you all. Please be impressed by me. I have skills. And Agent O is like, well, why would we want you to be in MIB? We can just neuralize you. And she's like, nah, because I have no life. Which is the most useful of skills for being an MIB agent. And so Agent O is like, all right, fine. We will let you be a probationary agent. And she gets the name Agent M and a super cool suit. And she's assigned to the organization's London branch. So this is where we find out that MIB isn't just in New York City. Because I literally never thought about that being an option until this movie, so thank you. Cool. Then we see Mr. Hemsworth. I know, it's Hemsworth. Mr. Hemsworth, Agent H. He's in a bougie-looking underground, like, casino thing, like, smoky underground bad card playing place, and he's playing the bad cards with some aliens, and there's a 3-headed snake in a cage in the middle of the table, and they just, like, reach in and grab cards, and that's the game? I don't know. But yeah, he, like, drinks, like, this glass of, like, glowy blue liquid, and it turns out it's, like, some fun drug that comes from the snake. It's, like, the snake's venom. And he's like, yo, I can sell this stuff. Tell me who your supplier is so that I can sell the stuff. And of course, the alien is like, no, 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 no. You are in Men in Black. And a fight happens, and everybody's fighting. And he somehow, of course, Agent H beats everybody up, but then gets bit by the three-headed snake. But then the snake bites the alien, like the evil alien as well. And the evil alien's all like, oh no, there's only one person with the vaccine or whatever, the anti-venom. What is... I don't know. You know what it's called. The stuff that'll stop it. And it's this, like, sexy alien that's, like, standing next to him. And she's got the... Oh, it's antidote. The word is antidote. She has the antidote. And Agent H is like, please, I'll give you anything you want if you give me that antidote. And she's like, anything I want? And then it cuts to him waking up in bed next to her. And I'm like, really? I don't think so. I don't know. What a yikes. That's a yikes. That was the first yikes. Great. So, yeah. And then he sneaks out of the room and seems to, like, head to work, I suppose. It was a little bit funny because she, like, has her, like, arm on him and it's like a tentacle that has suction cups. So the noise of him pulling her arm off him, the little suction cups popping. It's kind of funny. Great. So, yeah. Cool. Then we see Agent M. She gets on a train to go to London. And as she's getting on the train, the worms get off the train. Oh! I love the worms. I love them so much. And they're like shooting the shit with each other as they do. And one of them is talking about, see, I knew that boy was neuralizing himself. I was like, you do that too much, you're going to go blind. Which is like a masturbation joke. If you don't get it. So, they're still doing their thing. They're still doing it well. But it was a beautiful cameo. I stand the cameos, for sure. Minimum, this movie has good cameos. Not enough to base a good review. That's not a good enough reason to say a movie is good. But so far, I'm saying this movie's good based on 2 cameos alone. Great. So she gets on her train to go to London. And she gets there. And she meets High T, which we know is Liam Neeson. What a gift. He is the head of the London branch. And on screen, they're like in the MIB headquarters, like in every movie, where in the background you can see like them surveilling current aliens in the world. And so they show that. And it's got Ariana Grande, Elon Musk, and Donald Glover. And with Donald Glover, Agent M says, she's like, that makes sense. Which is true. Nobody can be as talented as Donald Glover and be a human, honestly. That one did make sense. So yeah, that's fun. Then High T gives her a little compass. And it's super cute. And it was like something like the journey to the galaxy starts with like the first step. I don't know. It was definitely more elegant than me trying to just remember it off the top of my dome. But I did pretty good. Something like that. But who gives somebody a compass? Because I thought it was a wrist, or I thought it was a pocket watch at first. And then when I was like, I went back through to like find a quote or something. And I saw it again, and it was a compass. So, I don't know. Don't give me a compass. I don't want one. If anybody listening was ever inclined to give me a compass, I don't want it. Thank you. Alright, great. Alright, then we're back. We're back in Marrakesh, where we see a worker in what I think is like a restaurant, like mopping up. And it is one of Les Twins, which I am a massive Les Twins fan, and I had no idea they were in this movie, so I guess I'm not that massive of a Les Twins fan. Uh, but there are these two dancing identical twin brothers. I am pretty confident they're from France, and they won the first season of World of Dance. I'm a big World of Dance fan. I love dance reality television shows, except for like Dance Moms and stuff. Like, I don't care about that. Like, competition dance shows are my everything. I cry every episode of one of those that I watch. God damn, I love dance shows. So yeah, Les Twins won the first season of World of Dance. I saw them. They worked with Beyonce. They worked with lots of really famous people. They're extremely talented. So I recognized him right away, but it was only one of them. And I was like, huh? Only one of the twins got hired? That sucks. But, good for him still. But I was pleased as I watched the scene. The worker is working. The lights go out. They go up to the roof to check the fuse box. They shove a fork in the fuse box. It's bonkers. There's comedy gold abounds, really. While he's doing this, these like galaxy looking beings, they look like an outline of a person, but the inside of them is just like a galaxy looking thing. It's pretty cool. Grabs him and melts him into the ground. But then the two galaxy people transform into both of the twins. So, yeah, there it is. And they have different hairstyles somehow. When it transforms. I don't know. I don't understand. I guess one of the galaxy people just knew. It was like, I'm going to put my braids up in a ponytail. I already know. It was fun. So yeah, the Les Twins alien monsters go to a little shop, and there's like an alien kingdom in the back of little aliens. They're very small. One of the guards is voiced by Kumail Nanjiani. What a gift! We love it. I loved it. And the Les Twins say that they want a Jababian alien killed. But according to the little aliens' code, they will not kill any Jababians because of some treaty. And then the scary galaxy people show like their power and like rage out. And so then Kumail Nanji, I don't know what to call him, Kumail, the little guard says, okay, maybe we can talk about it. Whew. So then we're back in London. Agent H is speeding to work, and their entrance to their headquarters is like an old typewriter shop. I gotta slow down. I'm like speeding. An entrance is an old typewriter shop, and somebody outside. Y'all, I was gonna keep trying to do that Cockney accent, and it immediately was trash, and I apologize. But anyway, somebody outside, he almost hits them on his way in, and they're like, oi! I just love that shit. I like saying oi. Alright. So yeah, Agent H goes to work. And we see Agent M is at the headquarters learning that Eiffel, from the Eiffel Tower, was an MIB agent, one of the first ones, and helped in the first great intergalactic migration. And then we see Agent H walk into the headquarters, and there's this alien that puts him into slow motion because he is very hot. Even aliens understand how attractive Chris Hemsworth is, and rewinds him, plays him in slow-mo. It's very funny. I enjoyed it. And Agent M finds out that H and High T fought off an invasion of the Hive, which is a parasitic race who invades planets by merging with the DNA of the conquered species. And they did it at the Eiffel Tower in 2016. Um, and the person is an alien, and they look like, I wish I remembered the name of these little fish. It's not an ocelot. Is it? I don't know. I don't think so. They're these cute little fish that have like arms and like big ol' eyes. I don't know. He looks like that. That's the alien kind of looks like that little animal. If anybody knows what I'm talking about, I'm sorry. But he's the guy who's been telling H&M everything this whole time. And is like, yeah, they used nothing but their wits and Series 7 deatomizers. Which, for some reason, gives M an idea, and she, like, runs off. So then we see that the agents are having a meeting when H arrives late. We then meet Agent C, who is just pissed off from the jump, and Agent H just hates his guts. And is very British and hates him. And H is given the assignment to escort Vungus the Ugly during his layover on Earth, and he is a Jababian prince, or he's like royalty. I'm not sure what his title exactly was. But M arranges for herself to be assigned to assist Agent H in his meetings with Vungus the Ugly, which turns out to be H's close friend. And they have a good time planned. So they go out to meet up with Vungus, and M thinks that H is pimping her out to Vungus because he is very sexual and gross, and in like a hoodie, and doing weird pelvic thrust, something I'm not on board with. And H is like, nah, dude, he's just like my pal, having a nice time out in the world. And as they're kind of not having a great time, Vungus is trying to talk to H about something serious, but he's not listening, because he's like a rogue agent now, And then, of course, Lay Twins show up, and they dance, because of course they're gonna dance. You can't have Lay Twins in a movie and not give them the opportunity to dance. What a gift. It is very cool. They're really, really cool hip-hop dancers. So you get like a really, definitely too long scene. A scene that didn't help the plot at all, but was cool as fuck to watch. So I'm into it. So they dance. And as they dance, they throw a dart at Vungus. And he gets hit in the neck. H and M get Vungus out of the club. And they fight. H&M. H&M. That's dumb. Do you think H&M paid for that to be the letters of the agents? Is H&M still a company? Somebody let me know. I don't know. I've never bought anything at H&M because nothing about my body was made to fit in H&M clothes, but also no. Okay, cool. Sorry, I got distracted. So yeah, they get Vungus out of the club, and they fight the twins in the street with like every gun ever. They just pull out of this car. This car is just built of guns, and then that doesn't seem to be very effective because we find out that just like the galaxy beings can just like change all the physics around them and manipulate just like any matter and make it into whatever they want, which is very hard to fight against. And Vungus is in a car that gets like thrown over to the side, and he's like full dying, and H&M gets to him, and he gives her a strange crystal. It looks like a Dungeons and Dragons 100,000 sided die. It's like numbers on it and stuff. Um, but yeah, he gives it to Agent M, and she's like, "What? Why?" And he's like, "I can trust you. I can't trust Agent H. Something has changed. Like, he's changed. He can't be trusted." And he knows because he has like special alien vibe reading hands that change colors. So yeah. So yeah, but then of course, as soon as Fungus dies, MIB shows up, and the galaxy people go away, and M and H are brought into High T's office, and Agent C is stoked and is flaming him up. And he's like, "You're about to lose your job because you fucking failed your mission, and a royal member of the Javabian species just died. And that's bad." But luckily, Agent M is like, "Yo, yo, yo, yo. Who knew that Fungus was going to be at that club?" The only people that knew his location were like involved in the like transport and were MIB agents. So obvi, there's probably a mole here. And so IT is like, "Oh snap! I think you're right." And he assigns Agent C and M to do an investigation, and he demotes Agent H to desk duty. And then they also find out that there's evidence that the twins had DNA traces of the hive. So they're like, "Oh shit, it's the hive again." And yeah, of course, Agent H can't be kept down, and he gets up in the evidence. And he recognizes the substance that was in the dart. It's venom from that three-headed snake that we saw him get bit up by. And he convinces Agent M to join him in going to Marrakesh to investigate, because that's where he was when he saw that snaky snake. And they go to the shop that had all the little alien kingdom in it, following clues, and they meet Pawnee, which is the guard from earlier. He now is given a name. He didn't have a name because he was just a pawn, and pawns do not have names, so they call him Pawnee. And he is the last survivor of the little aliens that were attacked by the twins. Very sad. But Pawnee then pledges his loyalty to Agent M, so that's really sweet. But then MIB agents show up because Agent C gets footage of when Fungus died and saw that he gave a crystal, that D&D die, to Agent M, and believes that she is the one who's the traitor because she didn't say anything about it and she had it in her pocket the whole time. So, yeah. So, it's bad. And thanks to two alien pals that Agent H has, their names are Nasser and Bassam. They run like a little mechanic shop nearby. They get there and they give them a rocket powered bike that they get on and they escape, and they end up in the desert, and they're looking at the crystal, and it transforms into a big old gun that in the core of it has like a big old blue orb. And Agent M is all like, "Yo, that's a compressed star. It's a compressed blue giant." And they're like, "Shoo, I wonder how powerful that is." And so they set it to like level 1 and they shoot it, and it causes like a new Grand Canyon in the desert. So very really powerful. So yeah. So then they're working on the bike because it got damaged when they like crashed into the desert. And as they're working on fixing the bike, Bassam, one of the aliens, which was the beard of Nasser, I think was his name. Yeah, Nasser. The alien that like looks like a little beard, jumps out of a pack and he steals the crystal and has like a little jetpack and is like, I'm taking it to someone who will pay me a lot of money for it. And Agent H is like, shit, I know who that is. It's my ex-girlfriend. And her name is Riza Stavros. And she's an alien arms dealer who lives like on some beautiful, amazing island. So they travel to Riza's island fortress, and fucking Agent H brings Pawnee with him as like a gift to her, I guess. To be like, oh look, let's get back together. I know you like weird little pets. And she's like, oh, that's so sweet. But no, because I got the most powerful weapon of all time, and it just so happens the same day you show up. Nah, I know what this is. And so she kicks him to the curb, and her bodyguard like takes him out, I guess. Yeah. His name's Luca. Yeah, it is. It's Luca, and so they start to like fight, I suppose. And then Agent M is like scaled like the wall of the place and gets in, and Pawnee breaks out of his little glass encasement, and they're all fighting. Everybody's fighting. The girls are fighting, and Luca has like this cute little, he's got like cute little blue feathers around his neck, which I noticed immediately, of course, because I'm a good moviegoer, that was the same cute little feathers around the neck of the alien that Molly met as a child. And I was like, here we go, this is why that mattered. I'm smart movie girl. And yeah, so it turns out that is the alien that she met as a kid. And she says to him like the phrase that he said to her, and he's like, Molly? And she's like, yeah, it me. And he's like, alright, cool, I'm on your side. And he like takes care of Riza. And she's like, yo, what did that phrase mean that you told me all those years ago? And he's like, oh, it meant that I would kill anyone that you wanted. And I was like, comedy. It was shocking. It's not what we expected. Oh yeah, and when Luca and Agent H were fighting at one point, he like picks up a hammer and is like, oh, it's over now, and throws it. It doesn't really do much, but it's funny because he's Thor, and Thor has a hammer that's really powerful. So that was good. That was good comedy. Yep. All right. Oh, golly gee whiz. So yeah, with Luca keeping Riza contained, they get back the crystal, and they are leaving the fortress. Which the fortress was called? I wish I should have wrote down what the fortress was called. The fortress was like the fortress of you definitely ain't gonna be safe getting in here, something like that. It's pretty funny. But as they're leaving, the twins show up because, of course, they seem to be like just like able to, what's the word? Teleport anywhere. So I don't know why they don't. They always just show up just a little bit late or something like that. It's because we have to have a plot. Oh, okay. I see. All right, yeah. So they're conveniently able to teleport sometimes after we get some action. All right, so they show up and they say that they want the weapon to protect their planet. But then High T and a group of MIB agents show up and defeat them. So there you go. And then we're back at MIB headquarters, and it seems like it's all over. It's like, well, that was the end of the mission. And they put the crystal in a box and give it to the evidence person, and Agent H is like being all acclaimed and stuff by High T and all that jazz. And yeah, it's looking pretty tied up, but Agent H and Agent M are kind of like, I don't know, still doesn't feel quite right. And they talk to each other and they review the evidence and realize that the twins, when they said that they needed the weapon to protect their planet, they meant to protect it from the Hive, and not that they were the Hive. And that the only evidence of the Hive DNA being present was provided by High T himself. And so they look into the case file to reread it to see, and it's been deleted. Gasp. And so then they go to the evidence locker, and he's like, let me see the crystal. And she's like, you can't do that. And he's like, why not? I'm like of the highest ranking. And so she opens the box, and it's not in there. Ooh, man. All right. So things are really picking up. What? Whoa. Okay. So they figure out that, High T is up to something fishy. Agent C also comes up to them and is like, yo, High T is bad. He figures out that he has deceived them, and he allows H and M to follow High T to the Eiffel Tower, where he has gone. And there's a wormhole. There's a new wormhole in the Eiffel Tower, just like in 2016. And they travel, and they're going up into the Eiffel Tower. And Agent M starts questioning Agent H about, like, the first time they were there and how they defeated the Hive. And he's like, well, I had nothing but my wits and a Series 7 deatomizer. And she's like, okay, that's like what everybody says about it, what actually happened. And then he just repeats that exactly, and then is like, oh, what? And then he realizes that High T neuralized him while they were fighting. Gasp. And said that to him, which is why that's all he can say about it. And they realize that the Hive took over High T in that moment. It's sad. And made him into one of their own. And so then they get into the weird inside the Eiffel Tower place. I don't know. It like looks like an old abandoned fucking amusement park storage locker. I don't know. But I think it's supposed to be inside the Eiffel Tower. It's just all dusty and nasty. And High T, like, grabs Agent H and is like, oh, you were always like a son to me. You're always like a son to him. And then it, like, transforms into the Hive monster, and it's super scary, dude. It is a snarly looking dude. And, just starts wailing on him. Just really beating him up. They are not doing a good job up against this homeboy. He is big and scary. So cute little Pawnee is like trying to get involved. Not doing great. And Agent M just gets full thrown into the wormhole at one point, and that's bad. And she is just like flying through this wormhole. And then we see Pawnee come, and he has like a little grappling hook that he gets her with. And then he has a second grappling hook that he somehow shoots out of the wormhole. And they get pulled out to safety, and that's good. And while this is happening, the Hive is holding Chris Hemsworth, Agent H, and Agent H is somehow able to reach the original, like, High T, his, like, real being in the moment, and is like, you really were like a father to me. You were everything to me. And it's really, like, emotional. And then you see, like, his face kind of change back into Liam Neeson a little bit. just enough, just long enough for Agent M to then use the weapon to destroy High T and the hive infestation inside the wormhole. It's tense. It was tense there for a moment, everybody. Yeah. And so then they save the planet. Yeah. Whew. And then they're outside of the Eiffel Tower, and Agent O shows up and is like, yeah, so we're all gonna miss High T, and it's sad because she is a phenomenal actor and looks so fucking devastated that I got emotional and was like, fuck yeah, I'm gonna miss him too. And then I was like, you didn't know him. But yeah, so it's sad. But Agent O joins H&M, and she gives Agent M full agent status, and she appoints H as the probationary head of MIB's London branch, because Agent High T said that he wanted that for him before that mission in 2016. So she's like, I trusted him. That's nice. Yeah. And then she's like, all right, Agent M, you're going to go back to New York after this. And so they kind of like, M and H look at each other a little sad. But then Agent H like is walking alone and a car pulls up and it's Agent M. And she's like, well, they gave me some time and said I could give you a ride back to London. So that's fun. And they drive off in the car, and then the car turns into a rocket, and they drive into the sky. And we find out that this has just been a sequel to Grease this whole time. But for real, what the fuck? What the fuck if that was real? This was the sequel to Grease. Oh, fuck. Yeah, somebody explained that flying car in Grease to me. That shit was so bonkers, and everybody just acts like it's okay. And it's not. Alright. But yeah, that's the end of the movie. What a wild ride. In so many ways. Yeah. So that's Men in Black International. It has a Rotten Tomatoes score of 23%. Fuck. And the Letterboxd reviews are 2.4 out of 5 stars. People really fucking didn't like this movie. You know what? I really liked it. I had a really good time. It was extremely entertaining. It was. Was there a lot of substance? No. Like, it's an incredible, feat of innovative storytelling. Oh, fucking no way. But it was fun, you guys. It looked very cool and had a wonderful time. And I do recommend it for that alone. And I think that's worth it. Yeah. Most of the criticism comes from there not being enough character development, is what I saw a lot of people saying. And saying that the story was weak. Which, they're not wrong. And the only criticism that I really because things can just be entertaining, right? I don't know. It seems like they were just extremely harsh on it, because I think critics tend to hate franchise films, right? Because it's we need to come up with new stories and that sort of thing. It's like a mentality, which I don't think I agree with. I think I did at one point when I sucked more, but now that I don't suck as much, I'm down. I haven't seen very many fucking Marvel movies, but I'm down for them to exist, you know? It's whatever, it's cool, do whatever you want. Make a bunch of movies that are all connected. Sick. Matilda is really upset. You might be able to hear her screaming. I won't let her in here because I'm trying to record this. But yeah, so that was a lot of it, and there was one criticism that I actually did completely agree with though. I'm gonna read the little excerpt. It was the review that was on RogerEbert.com. It was Men in Black International is also the latest movie to shoehorn in a few empty pop feminist lines and call it progressive. Like when Agent M brings up why the organization's name doesn't include the women in black. Yet, not long after this scene, Agent M has to ask if she's getting offered to an alien as a sexual companion. If this is Hollywood's idea of feminism, I really wish they'd invest in woman writers. The story didn't need to go there, much like it didn't need to add on excess exposition, other dull-sided characters, and random country jumping to fulfill the need to see Westerners run through foreign marketplaces. So I did agree with there were some weird jokes that were trying to address the lacking of diversity and that sort of thing in the MIB franchise that we've seen. But then they didn't do anything about it, right? They just kind of made a couple jokes and then continued to make it what it always has been. So that was too bad. I did have hope for that. I was excited. It was oh shit, Tessa Thompson, this is gonna be dope. We're gonna see all kinds of different kinds of MIB people because there are so many diverse aliens. Maybe we can have a cast that's diverse people. And then they were like, nah, we're all white. So that sucked. Yeah. Did I relate? Do I relate to Men in Black International? Well, Agent M has skin and big ol' eyeballs like I do. But that's traits of Tessa Thompson as a person. And I really just want to be Tessa Thompson. But those are the only traits we have in common. Oh, her character was really weird. I think. We got a scene of her being weird. And really into alien weird shit in the MIB. So, and that's me. I like Men in Black. So a little bit. That's it. Yeah, there's not much depth here. There definitely was more depth in the last one. MIB 3 had some real emotional depth to it. And that was shocking, but really great. And I was hoping that would be kind of what they kept going with. They were like, oh, this is what we can do with this. We can do more than just show cool aliens. We can do cool, emotional, interesting stories as well. But in this, they were like, nah. Oh, well. But yeah, that's it. We've done it. 4 movies. Wow. I have no idea what I'm going to do next. Maybe it's October, so maybe I should probably do something Halloween related, but I am horrible with horror movies. Oh wow, so bad with them. I watched a fucking YouTube video of Trixie and Katya, the drag queens, talking about the new, I don't know, Blythe Manor show or whatever on Netflix, scary, spooky. Just them talking about it gave me nightmares. And there was jokes. There were many jokes at it. So, yeah, I don't handle horror very well. I once did a 24-hour, horror movie marathon for charity, and that's the only way I was able to do it, was that it was for charity, so I don't know. We'll see. Feel free to give me suggestions for movies you'd like to hear me watch, watch about. A good watch about. Fun. Alright, so, sweet. This has been your neighbor-friendly neighborhood fat friend, Allie. Thanks for letting me talk at you. I would lovingly go into a typewriter store in London and almost knock somebody on a bike over and go, oi, anytime for you. Okay. I'll talk to you next week. Bye.